Hi, welcome to Math 115 Business Calculus. I've got quite a long agenda, but you can always go back and look at the handout for more details. So we'll start by talking about what is business calculus. What are you going to learn? The key is that it's a study of rates of change. And if you understand rates of change, you can answer such questions as how fast is my profit increasing? What price should I charge to maximize my revenue? How do I minimize my costs? How much money will I make if I sell one more item? And what happens if I increase the price by $1? So how are you going to learn this? Well, here's our structure. In the left column, you'll notice titled Large Lecture. You'll be meeting twice a week for about an hour with a professor in a room of anywhere from 100 to 200 students. You will be completing lecture notes and taking your final exam in this location. The middle column talks about your activities section. This is another 2-hour occurrence where it's only once a week in a small group of about 30 students where you'll break down into smaller groups to do work, take quizzes, and exams. Keep in mind, quizzes and exams and the final could all change based on the format of the class. And the far right column says, hey, there's more than just your in-class activity, so what about outside of class? And the Carnegie unit says that for every 3-unit class you take, you should be, for every 3-unit class you take, you should be spending 2 hours per week outside of class. So 6 hours outside of class just to get a C. Probably a little different for everybody. But what are you going to be doing outside of class? You're going to be working on ALEKS, online homework, offline homework, and studying, all of which we'll be going into in more detail. You also have an additional structure to this class. It's optional but highly recommended. Math 95 still has spaces to enroll. This is another 2-hour, once-a-week class where you're going to be getting extra help. You're going to get preparations you need to complete your homework. You're going to be taking practice quizzes and exams. And it's just what happens in this class. There is no homework or outside work required. Consider signing up. Check your Beachboard account for more information. The class has a calendar. It may be different every semester, but you'll notice that generally homework is due on Thursdays and Sundays, which are the tan boxes. ALEKS is due about every 2 weeks, which is the yellow boxes, and your exam is every 4 to 5 weeks, I guess, and will be indicated which topics are on your exam. So how is your class grade determined? You'll be taking 3 midterms, activity quizzes, which will be over individual sections. You'll have a cumulative final at the end of the semester. WebAssign is your online homework by Cengage. You'll be participating in activity, that 2-hour-a-week event, and that'll contribute towards your grade. You'll be completing ALEKS, and there's 1 or 2 other little minor assignments that'll count towards your grade. So what do you need to pass this class? Materials. And here is a list of the 4 materials to focus on. The bottom one being a non-graphing calculator, and hopefully if you don't already own one, you can find a cheap $10 version. Will get you what you need. So first, let's talk about the course packet. This will be purchased in the bookstore and used at every lecture and every activity section. You will be filling in problems and work, and you'll also be doing that based on some videos outside of class. The back half of the packet provides offline homework with answers to practice for your quizzes and exams. ALEKS is a software package that allows you to brush up on your algebra and show us what you know. You'll take an initial placement and you'll be given a pie chart as seen on the right to let you know which topics are remaining. About every 2 weeks, you'll have to progress through your topics. And this is your opportunity to practice exercises until you master new topics, which will be added to your pie. Keep in mind, there will be frequent knowledge checks, and if you haven't proved mastery of a certain topic, you may have to repeat it. WebAssign is your online homework, where you can practice problems that you've learned in class in preparation for your quizzes and exams. In general, the homeworks are due on most Thursdays and Sundays at 11:59, or basically midnight. You have the immediate 2 days or 48 hours after that deadline to continue answering any uncompleted problems at 80% of their original value. Keep in mind, online homework is an opportunity to learn, not just to cheat and get your points. If you just use an app to solve all the problems, you won't be able to pass the quizzes and exams where the bulk of your grade comes from. And how about repeating the class? We know that some of you are, and keep in mind, if so, you probably don't have to purchase WebAssign if you've purchased it in the last semester or two, but you will need to purchase ALEKS. And in terms of the other materials for the course, such as the class packet, you don't have to purchase one again, but you may choose to, and hopefully you still have the calculator you used last time. So quick piece of advice about your offline homework that is in the back of your packet. This is an opportunity to practice writing out your homework, just like you will do on a quiz or exam. And sometimes it's the activity you're doing in your activity section. Usually you want to complete it after WebAssign, but sometimes it's preparation for the WebAssign that you're about to solve. The answers are in the back, and this doesn't count towards your grade. This is one of those 6 hours outside of class times where it's about preparing for what you need to pass the class. And the last component I wanted to discuss is activity. Remember, this is your 2-hour-a-day activity session where you'll be meeting with about 30 students from the same lecture hall, but then you'll be broken down into even smaller groups of 3 to 6 students where you'll be working on problems guided by your activity leader. And in general, all quizzes and exams will be taken during activity unless exceptions have been provided. So in some weeks, it's going to prepare you for the homework. Other weeks, it might be reinforcing what you've already done in your homework. And it's an excellent spot to really get to learn that material for your quizzes and exams. Hopefully that gives you a quick introduction, but everything else you need to know should be in your syllabus, and your large lecture professor can answer all your questions.